Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Your Big Music Moment. I'm your host, Chris Sharma, and Big Music is home for emerging and established artists alike. We've got a great show for you today with Sookie. First, a shout out to musicians on call who deliver the healing power of music to those in need. Really looking forward to today's show. Here's Sookie. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, based on our conversation so far, I can't wait to talk with you about your art, where it's come from, and where it's going. But first, why don't we get a little preview? Why don't you play something for us?
Okay, let me play something. Um,
yo, that's a stop.
All right.
Wow. Super cool. Super cool. Very eclectic bunch of sounds, even in that short little intro. Really, that's great. Can't wait to. We're going to do a little bit of a different format tonight, and you're going to play a little bit longer set after we have a conversation. So I'm
Sounds
really looking
good.
forward to that. So that set having, or that piece having all of these different influences kind of speaks to you and your background: LA, New York, Seattle, Korea. Um, you've been a lot of places, and you've incorporated a lot of fine art into your educational past. How has that all combined to bring you to where you are now and inspire you?
I think having a fine art background and having studied it in school kind of prepared me to think more about building works and bodies of work in um, by thinking a lot more about like being or like the reasons why I choose to tell a story a certain way, or like building meaning, making sound. I kind of was able to put that kind of um, I guess background into when I'm making mixes or building sound, which is which has been an interesting challenge. I think like having lived in LA and Seattle and Korea mostly, and having grown up in New York. And I think building mixes is like a way that I'm building connections and like ties between all of the places that I've lived in. And I think I learn a lot from the places that I've lived in, the people that I've met in these areas. And so when I'm kind of thinking about the music that I want to listen to or that I want to sit with, it kind of all comes together in like a weird way. And sometimes it's very chaotic and messy, but sometimes it works really nice. And I think that's kind of my approach when I'm making sets, even though I have no, I guess, formal music background.
Right on. I mean, and I really, I'm anxious to talk about Korea a little bit because you're exposed to, music here and there, and I want to get your take on it. But first, is it, so this transition from fine art to music, is it more like just changing a media, like going, from, canvas to sculpture, or is it a whole new game for you, do you think?
Honestly, building mixes, I really like, or when I'm making a mix and I'm really deep in it, and I'm trying to explain to my friends how I make a mix, I explain to them that it feels like I'm working on a painting or a video or even an essay. So I studied art and sociology, and the way that I would work when I'm in that kind of mode, like writing an essay, like a paper, or like building or doing edits for a video, is how I feel like I'm building sound and layering meaning and creating like a narrative with the mix overall. Yeah.
So it
So
seems like we hear this from a lot of artists. It's the story and the message presage the technique of it, and
mhm.
so you're an artist foremost, as most artists are, and you're using whatever the tools you have, which happen to be music in this instance, to
Exactly.
express yourself.
Yeah, it's cool. I think because I don't have access to a studio and it's hard for me to access the materials that I used to be able to have access to before. Now I'm working with sound and this mixer and like my laptop, and it's definitely different. I'm not going to say the mediums are the same, but they definitely have, or like my experience with one medium have informed the way I'm using and discovering how to use other, and I feel like it's
It's
cool. I'm constantly learning.
it's the access. Is that something too that, in the past 20 years, especially, digital audio has been around for longer than 20 years, but I think in the last 20 years, especially, we've seen this real democratization of the tools of
Right.
production. And it sounds like,
Exactly.
that's been able to bring you, you an artist, this other, this another palette in which you can use to paint, so to speak. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think I am reminded of that every time I use the internet, and like I'm listening to even more things and listening to what my friends or, the people that I'm hearing about are making in one area versus another, and like kind of comparing the different eras and sounds and how
mm,
everything kind of informs each other. And now with the internet, it's so much more. easy to tap into so many different corners of like
Right.
music
The
making.
internet now amongst musicians as artists, it's almost becomes a conversation a little bit, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. I think that's actually really interesting that you say that, because a lot of the times when I'm pulling certain sounds, I'm dedicating it, or like it's like a song in honor of someone. And like I kind of want this to like shout out to people in
Right.
that community or represented by that artist community. And like it's kind of fun. Like I feel like it's a conversation and dialogue. And like in like the academic world, people are always having discourse, and like in the internet
Right.
people are having discourse, and like in the music space, art space, everyone's just trying to connect and like understand
Yeah.
things better. And so it's cool to like have like a little my foot into that, or like be a part of that a little bit.
Right. That community. I think that that's one of the things hip hop has really done, and rap have done a great job of. These artists have created this community that exists with their work, and their work
Mhm.
shouts each other out, and either
Mhm.
disses them if they have an issue or extols them if they're in support or somewhere in between. But it's really a vibrant communication.
Right,
It's
even
it's
like
really fun to
across
watch.
genres, which is really
Hmm.
interesting. And I think like it's
Yes.
really, I think actually one thing I was thinking about a long time ago was trying to like, I was thinking to myself, like, I wonder what genre of music is most honest. And I was trying to be like, some like every genre
Hmm.
thinks what they're saying or what they're communicating through their music is the most raw and the most genuine and like
Right.
real. And I'm like, it's really amazing how every artist in it like that claims to be a part of a genre and like really commits to it and speaks to the
Right.
people who listen to it, like everyone really believes that that's like so important and like needs to be heard. And I think like that's how value is made. But then with mixes and like by really like putting all of that like challenge, like pushing all of the boundaries and like really playing with the
Yeah.
borders and like of the way genres. And I don't know, I think that's kind of been a personal exercise of mine, trying to figure out how to
Wow.
break down pop, K-pop, like hip hop, like
Right.
techno, like, and like just bringing it, and I don't know, and doing it in a way that for me it sounds fun and like interesting and like um yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
engaging.
I mean, it doesn't get much more honest than the Delta blues of the 1940s, from Lightning Hopkins and Muddy Waters and all those cats. But
Exactly.
no one has a monopoly on honesty and expression.
Right.
One thing you mentioned that, I'd love to talk about, Korea, is this region that we all know so well for K-pop, and they've
Mhm.
taken that genre and, touched the world. I think, BTS was such a huge part of all of Universal Music's, output a year or two ago. And but I got turned on to Korea a bit before that. Like I remember when the film Nowhere Man came out, its soundtrack was just mind blowing. Such great emotional music. And what's the real scene in Korea like, or the scene underneath K-pop in Korea like?
I think I was wondering the same too when I first went there to like, because I went there after I graduated university and I was working there. But then after my, job in the daytime, a lot of my time and energy like would be trying to find exactly this, like what underground music scenes were there. Like I know that the art scene is very, very vibrant, the music and creative, any like all of that is, I know it's there. And I think doing research and doing kind of finding things that I am interested in, and by doing that, um, like meeting people, and like it was very organic in the way that everyone would just be interested in just hanging out. And like I don't know, I think friendships are built and like over the weeks, and visiting people's studio, just talking and building connections, you get exposed to more and more deeper and like richer communities that build this underground or just music scene that is often overlooked in just in the Korean music scene. But it's in a way really interesting how, because I feel like everyone's really hustling and like everyone's working so hard, and I really have so much respect for all of my friends who are working in Korea in the music and art world, because not only are they just doing on their own work really well, they're really working together, and all of the members of this community are like doing what they do best, and then doing it in a way so that they build each other up, and like it's not just one person going forward, it's like we're all going forward, like we're all like feeding our families and like paying our rent, you know. And I think that's something that I really was amazed with when I first learned about the scene, is that like there's a photographer in a team, a videographer, like a VJ, DJ, like everyone's using their abilities, like designer, like in order to pull an event together. And like I think it's just really beautiful, and like the sounds are very unique and like interesting, and like I don't know, I think I learned a lot from I guess listening to that and like being around that.
Wow, that it sounds like it's a very dynamic scene there. I know, you know, from the art, I've never been there, but from the art, I've worked, you know, a lot in the region, just never there. But from the art that comes out of Korea, it seems so emotionally aware. Like, you know, the films, even regardless of what the tactical tapestry remnants are doing at, you know, Monster, whatever, it's almost Shakespearean in the way that they go to the base of human emotion across all these different, you know, different issues that human beings have, you know, both positive and negative. Same with the music. So it's interesting that such a vibrant culture that's moving so quickly, yet they're very moved by fundamental emotions.
Yeah, there's a lot of urgency and a lot of like care put into
Right.
these works.
Yeah, and urgency and care don't always meet. You know,
exactly.
they sometimes are opposites. So
Right.
well, you know, it's really great to talk to you. I think we could talk forever about this, but I don't want to take away from the music that you've got coming up. So let's get to that. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about this journey that you've taken so far, where you're going?
No, I mean, I'm just learning, and I feel like if anyone is listening to my mix right now and has any feedback, I would love to hear, just have conversations. And I think just yeah, I want to keep doing this and contribute in the way that
Great.
I
Well,
can.
we're really excited at Big Music to have you in the fold and to be having this first conversation with you. So thanks again for joining us. We'll check in before we say goodbye, but so now we're going to hear a little bit longer set, right? About 20 minutes.
Yes.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Cool. Thank you.
truck. Windows tint, presidential, fuck a lemon. Damn, you're right, do this shit on this again. Now she pull up at the club, change the tempo. Be fucking with you, not Miami. Make a scene, made a couple magazines. In your face, bitch, this ain't Maybelline. Raphael, PVS, bling bling. Head coach, I might put you on a tab, bitch, link up. Link up. I just pull up in the Brinks truck. Bad bitch, link up. Link up. I just pull up in the Brinks truck. $1,000 to link up, yeah. All this drip on me, I put the sink up. Bad bitch, link up. Link up. I just pull up in the Brinks truck. And I brought some young bad bitches in here. Ain't no room for no mad bitches in here. Come on, I say Houdini doing tricks with us all. For my next act, watch me cut these bitches off. Yeah, I'm a boss. Cut these bitches off, yeah, it's sauce. Cut these bitches off, yeah, I'm boss. Take a trip, let them bitches off. Yeah, I'm a GPS, your nigga, if you're looking for some bad bitch, link up. Link up. I just pull up in the Brinks truck. Bad bitch, link up. Link up. I just pull up in the Brinks truck. $100,000 to link up, yeah. All this drip on me, I put the sink up. Bad bitch, link up. Link up. I just pull up in the Brinks truck. Yeah, I bet you wanna see me naked, don't you? I got your main nigga checking for me. Yeah, 50 bitches in my section on it. Yeah, and they all with the shit. Yeah, I bet you wanna see me naked, don't you? I got your main nigga checking for me. Yeah, 50 bitches in my section on it. Yeah, and they all with the shit. I've been poppin' since a young, but they don't know how I'm coming. Too much sauce, I gotta run it. Covered all in that drip. All these eyes all in that patty. Now she come through with your daddy. All my status and my status. Now they all on my dick. I'm on that way. Used to want and now I got it, bitch, I'm paid. New California, white on white, I made a way. Rapid flies, I'm out of state like every day. I'm here to stay. Yeah.
behind and tell them hoes don't be so obvious. Oh no, don't care. She handles the feelings and don't ever tell. She bites the bullet and cuff up the shell. She tell him, ooh, daddy, let's go to your place. And if he say yeah, then we meet him there. She feed him lies with his silverware. She don't want love, she just wanna share. No bitch nameless. Niggas say she is, 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 no bitch nameless. We waiting outside, a bunch of more time. Niggas say she is, no bitch nameless. Niggas say she is, no bitch nameless.
hit. That girl that, that bitch bad, girl that, that bitch bad as fuck. Ain't shit too big girl that, Brazilian girl that, that bitch bad, girl that, that bitch bad as fuck. But I still hit. Girl that, Salvadorian girl that, that bitch bad, girl that, that bitch bad as fuck. Ain't shit too big girl that, Malaysian girl that, that bitch bad, girl that, that bitch bad as fuck. But I still hit. Girl that, I don't play no games. I just swag the rules. I made 8 mistakes. In my last one moved 39. I clap back. That bitch bad. That bitch bad as fuck. 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 Ain't shit you can do. That bitch bad as fuck. That bitch bad as fuck. That bitch bad as fuck. But I still hit. That bitch bad. That bitch bad as fuck. Ain't shit you can do. Didn't I tell you that taking your bitches is probably the least I could do? Didn't I tell you to chill? Didn't you tell me it's bull? Now I'm just posted up under your shawty ain't want me to move. Good digging, my bitch bad. That bitch bad as fuck. She so thick, but she still won't fuck on you. You ain't shit. Ain't shit you could do, but I still hit. Ain't shit you could do, like.
Wow. That was amazing. I really felt like we went on a journey there, kind of soul to Ibiza by way of Detroit and Berlin. You covered a lot of different genres. It was really cool to hear some drum and bass and everything that you put in there.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. It kind of reminds us of the truly experimental roots that electronic music came to us from. And I think that's really an amazing work to remind us of that. So it's fantastic.
That's nice.
Thank you. So we'd love to have you back and see kind of where your latest inspirations take you as you move forward. So let's be in touch, and can't wait to see you back at your big music moment. Thanks so much, Sookie.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Always, anytime. That was really cool. It takes me back to some of the days of Moon Tribe in LA. Used to do a lot of the precursors to what the festivals were out in the desert, and they played a lot of experimental electronic music similar to what we heard. So really amazing artist on the rise, Sookie, exploring kind of electronic music through the collage of different pieces, inspired by a truly international perspective. So as always, music takes us different places, and a great way to take a journey without ever leaving your chair, couch, or wherever you're listening, your car. So we're always thankful to artists like Sookie for joining us. We are Big Music. This is your Big Music Moment. We come at you every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, for more great live music. As always, live to listen, and Big Music supports BLM and the cause of social justice. See everyone soon. Bye now.